Professor Jarvis.
Thank you so much for this opportunity and invitation. I've been a journalist for 50 years and a journalism professor for the last 18 of those. I'd like to begin with 3 lessons about the history of news and copyright that I've learned from researching my book, The Gutenberg Parenthesis. First, America's 1790 Copyright Act protected only maps, charts, and books. Newspapers were not covered by the statute until 1909. Second, the Post Office Act of 1792 allowed newspapers to exchange copies for free, enabling so-called scissors editor, an actual job title, to reprint articles, thus creating a network for news and with it, a nation. To this day, journalists read, learn from, and repurpose facts from each other. The question before us today is whether the machine has similar rights to read and learn. Third, a century ago, when print media faced their first competitor, radio, newspapers were inhospitable, limiting broadcasters to 2 daily updates, excluding radio from congressional press galleries, and even forbidding on-air commentators from discussing an event until 12 hours after the fact. They accused radio of stealing content and revenue. They warned radio would endanger democracy, as they have since to television, the internet, and now AI. But today, I prefer to focus on the good that might come from news collaborating with this new technology. First, a caveat. Large language models have no sense of fact and should not be used where facts matter, as some learn the hard way. Still, AI presents many opportunities. For example, AI is excellent at translation. News organizations could use it to present their news internationally. AI is good at summarizing specific documents. That is what Google's Notebook LM does, helping writers and journalists organize their research. AI can analyze more text than any one reporter. I advised one editor to have citizens record, say, 100 school board meetings so the technology could transcribe them and then answer questions about how many boards are discussing, say, banning books. I'm fascinated with the idea that AI could extend literacy, helping people who are intimidated by writing to tell and illustrate their own stories. A task force of academics from the Modern Language Association concluded recently that AI could help students with wordplay, analyzing writing, and overcoming writer's block. AI now enables anyone to write computer code. As a tech executive told me in an AI podcast that I co-host, the hottest programming language on planet Earth right now is English. Finally, I see business opportunities for publishers to put large language models in front of their content to allow readers to enter into dialogue with that content. I just spoke with one entrepreneur I know who is working on a business like that, and this morning I talked to an executive at Schibsted, the very good Norwegian newspaper company, and they're working on something similar. All these opportunities and more are put at risk if we fence off the open internet. Common Crawl is a foundation that for 16 years has archived the web, 250 billion pages and 10 petabytes made available to scholars for free, yielding 10,000 research papers. I'm disturbed to learn that the New York Times demanded that the entire history of its content, including that which had been available for free, be erased. Now, when I learned that my books were included in Books 3, a data set used to train AI, I was delighted. For I write not only to make money, but also to spread ideas. What happens to our information ecosystem and our democracy when all authoritative news retreats behind paywalls, available only to privileged citizens and giant corporations that can afford to pay? I understand the economic plight of my industry. I've been an executive in this industry. I've run a Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism. I understand the urgency. But instead of debating protectionist legislation sought by lobbyists for a struggling industry, I hope we also have a discussion about journalism's moral obligation to an informed democracy. And please let us rethink copyright for this age. In my next book, The Web We Weave, I ask technologists, users, scholars, media, and governments to enter into covenants of mutual obligation for the future of the internet and, by extension, AI. So today, I propose to you as government to promise first to protect the rights of speech and assembly that have been made possible by the internet. Please base decisions that affect internet rights on rational proof of harms, not media's moral panic. Do not splinter the internet along national borders, and encourage and enable new competition and openness rather than entrenching incumbent interests through regulatory capture. In sum, I seek a Hippocratic oath for the internet. First, do no harm.